Good morning, cadre. Sunday morning for the trifecta, 3 videos in a row. Today we're back with the Rockwell 6S set on plate number 6. Again, I don't know if you can see it, it's right there, but this is the most aggressive. This is getting a decent amount of blade gap there now, though still nothing like the Timeless. I think the Timeless still has a bigger blade gap than this. And the variant, I don't have a blade on that, or I'd show you the variant set on the higher number. So I think both of those have a bigger blade gap than the Rockwell. So we'll see. I'm using another new soap today, the Novelist, again by the club, the shaving soap club. To me, this one I think smells like an Creed Adventus clone, which I enjoy, and that's a winner. You know, the Adventus scent with the performance of the Ariana and Evans soaps. But like I mentioned yesterday with their other one, this is the soap from yesterday, that the scent is not matching up, to me at least, with the name of this one. When I think, you know, I knew what I was getting when I ordered it, so I'm happy with the soap and I'll be using it. But it doesn't seem to match the name. You know, I'll go online and I'll read their description again, and it's kind of neat where they have a story that it's, you know, here's our thought of the setting or the feeling we want this soap to portray. But when I think Novelist, I'm thinking other things like maybe leather, the smell of ink. That's actually an interesting idea. Like fresh newspaper or printing ink. I don't think I've ever heard of a soap trying to replicate that or smell like that. And that's probably one of those weird things that Chiseled Face has that gear. What is it? It's not Gearhead, but that's what I keep thinking about. That's supposed to smell like a dirty garage or something that guys would like. I don't think I would. But the smell of like fresh newspaper, lead pencil shaving, something like that. That's what I think of Novelist, leather chair. Then you get into the, you know, tobacco, cigar, all that stuff. That's been done, but it'd be interesting. Again, the smell of musty books, I don't think that's a great smell, but more of along those lines. So I didn't mention, I just put in a fresh feather blade. So again, I don't want to keep this too long. I'll get this one sent off to, I think TJ is next on the list to try. This one, this is again one of Dave's unofficial razor pass-around razors. Dave from Kentucky. I won't keep this too long. I was able to snag one yesterday on a BST. There was one that was sitting on a BST. I told Kentucky Dave about it, and he said, just be patient, just be patient. And I know Chad was thinking about selling his, but the first day I used it, I was like, I gotta get one of those. And I've been watching it. It stayed on the BST and slowly kind of fell off of the front page. And I thought, well, as long as somebody doesn't bump it back up to the front page, maybe it'll still be there. And I think this thing at this point was a month old. yesterday when I finally got it. I don't know why nobody snagged it, but luckily it was still there. But yeah, after the first 2 shaves, it's like I don't need any more time with this. So this shave on 6, it was just a little tuggy at the beginning, but that could be the blade was brand new. So that's what I was saying, is that, you know, to give this 100% E-value, you'd want to use it for some period of time with, you know, different settings or different plates. And you know, this plate 6 again with a blade that already had a day shave on it. But to me, the blade gap is visibly larger than a 5. Again, maybe it's not that much, that's just the sense that I got. But this shave is feeling very similar to yesterday's with the plate 5. Kind of like there's a little bit of blade feel, but it's not uncomfortable. It doesn't feel irritating. So I guess this is where you get the people making, you know, kind of a cross or overreaching statements, because I'm thinking I'm having these amazing shaves with this. My skin's fairly sensitive, especially on the neck. I can't handle aggressive razors, so geez, if I can get beyond BBS shaves with this with no irritation, then it's got to be a great razor for everybody. And while that makes sense to me, I know that that's not true, that everybody's face is different, their shaving technique is different. So I guess we'll just leave it at that. But so thank you, Kentucky Dave, for giving the chance to try all these. I ended up okay, so now I'll finish my sentence. I ended up buying 2 of the 3 that are my versions of 2 of the 3 that I tried from Dave. The Timeless I think I bought before his even came to me because I saw one again on a BST and decided just to snag it. Talked me into waiting to grab the 6S until I tried it, and it only took 1 shave. The carve, not my style. So that's cool. I certainly don't need another one. I may have gotten these without the pass around just out of curiosity and stuff, but it was certainly cool to have the experience, and especially with the Timeless, having other heads to try. So as I mentioned, the neck is kind of the tell-all for me. This is where the irritation will happen, and I'll feel a little bit more aggressiveness. And now this is more feeling maybe like an RX shave, where if I did it every day, I think I'd have to be more careful, and it might slowly add just a little bit of irritation day after day, where I might need a break with it. I can see a little redness here. So I was gonna say, I don't know if the results are any better than the 5 plate. And then here becomes the drawback of having to change the plates versus the variant that you can just dial up and down, because unless I had a huge reason, like this was really ripping my neck apart, I would not go to the trouble of changing plates in the middle of a shave. But right now what I'd love to do is, yeah, this is causing a little irritation on my neck, so I'd like to go down to like the 3 to clean up on my neck. But it's just, I don't think anybody's gonna do that. And more likely, just like if you had a DE you could not adjust, I might grab a more mild one for a stroke or two. So I think that's where we're at. I should be getting mine, I think, the end of next week, and I'll mess around with it more. But plate 6, a little much for the neck. Yeah, that's a little red right now, so I might feel that through part of the day. I'm not afraid of it lasting until tomorrow. I do like, I would have to spend more time with it to see if the cheeks are feeling smoother now than they did yesterday. I know yesterday was pretty darn good, so it would surprise me, but I'll play around with it more. Maybe use the 6 on the cheeks and go with the variant set on 1 and do the neck, who knows. But that's the fun of it, right? Just playing around. And then maybe we'll have to do a Rockwell on one side and the RX on the other side, head to head shave to compare those. Yeah, so we got some sting down there, so I think the grail shaves for me are the 6S on the plate 4 or 5. 6 is a little much. Now let me clean up my soap, and then I've got one other thing that I want to mention other than the razor. I'm not talking about the soaps an awful lot, because I think I and others have covered the Ariana and Evans pretty well. And I mentioned before, I really don't pay attention to soap bases, even though I should, so I'm just going under the assumption that for the most part the base in all these soaps is the same. I could be wrong with that, I'm sure. Somebody will correct me. Josh, let me know. Dagwood Z has a lot of the Ariana and Evans soaps as well. There's lemon. Okay, so last thing I wanted to mention is way back in the day when I first started this whole thing, and have not gotten my hair cut. Didn't have a chance Friday. We were busy Saturday, actually enjoying most of the day without kids. So hopefully today. Anyway, when I first started traditional shaving, I would look on BSTs and get boxes full of samples and all this stuff to try lots of things, and I'm glad I had the opportunity for that, because now it doesn't seem like people are selling groupings of samples nearly as much as they used to. I'm not quite sure. I think people might just have gotten more generous and be sending them to people they know would like them without listing them, things like that. But this is something that I got in one of those boxes long ago. It wasn't listed, it was just kind of something thrown in, and this is V's Barbershop Authentic Barbershop Tonic, V's Original. I knew nothing about it, and it's interesting because barbershop scents to me are not what I think of when I think of barbershop, but I also didn't spend any, if maybe a little bit, I don't know, I don't remember spending time in actual barbershops, so the whole baby powdered scent thing is one I don't enjoy, and I don't associate it with barbershops, even though I understand that's what they've done. But this is the scent that I think of when I think of barbershops, and I love it. And it I love all the modern scents, citrusy, all this kind of stuff. I'm not too into the older scents, the Old Spice and the Aqua Velva and things like that, mainly because I associate that like with my grandfather and older people, and so that's like a whole generation past. And I know a lot of people still love to use those now, but this one I love, and you can see I've used it a few times, but and I'm a little hesitant because of the same reason, but this is what I think of when I think of barbershop, and I don't know what to equate it to. So if I can think of a way to get a little bit of this to KJ, maybe he can tell us, oh, that's this, or this smells like that. But the cool part of the story is I thought that, you know, it's a small plastic bottle. I thought, hey, if they don't cost too much online, I can buy a few and I can throw them in with, you know, piffs or something like that, just to kind of spread the word and see if people like it as much as I do. So I wrote the company, I got online, I tried a few times to find this V's Barbershop, and no luck. And I don't know if why I didn't find it before, but just last week I looked it up, and there is a chain of barbershops called V's Barbershop, and they have some things that you can buy online, but none of them are their products. So I emailed them, excuse me, and asked about this, and I assumed that it must have been some old thing, and they said, oh no, we still make it. It's available in our barber shops, so you have to go there and get it. And I kind of said, well, you know, that's unfortunate. Well, the closest one to me is about 45 minutes, which I guess if you really want something isn't that far, but I wasn't going to drive to buy a little bottle of this stuff. And they said, hey, let me know your address, we'll send you a bottle. And they sent this bad boy. So I've got tonic for days now, so don't really want to plug, but you know, thank you for V's. I forgot to look up where they are to let you know what states have them. They're in many states. We only have one in Northern California, and I think there's several in Southern California. But if you happen to find one close to you, go in and check this stuff out. But I just thought that was pretty cool customer service. So we're going to finish up with the 2-in-1. My post shave has gotten to be a bit of a boring ritual at this point, but that's almost the point of traditional shaving for me, is if I can avoid the end result of the neck irritation and razor burn and that kind of stuff, so I find a post shave and stick with it. So there we go. The soap scent is gone now, so I don't need to worry about pairing it with anything in particular. So after I change, we'll be doing the tonic, and I will be right as rain. Right, brothers? All right, see you on the forums.